In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Brothers and sisters, every time you enter a room, there is a silent exchange that takes place. It's not about who speaks the loudest, who has the most worldly knowledge, or who holds a title on paper. It's about something far deeper. It is the state of the heart. This state determines the spiritual presence you bring into the space. It is the compass that guides the entire interaction. For a believer, this compass has a single direction, the intention to please Allah. The world may tell you that the one who wins is the one who believes in their version of reality the most. But as Muslims, our goal is not to impose our version of reality, but to align ourselves with the reality, al-haq, the truth himself. Our strength doesn't come from our ego, it comes from our certainty in him. This spiritual presence has a structure built on 4 pillars: trustworthiness, certainty, truthfulness, and humility. When these pillars are firm, your presence becomes an anchor for others. Let's begin with the first pillar, trustworthiness. People enter interactions with expectations. A believer doesn't seek to disrupt these for the sake of control, but to honor them through honesty. However, if someone's expectations are based on falsehood or prejudice, we can gently invite them to a higher truth, not to create an opening for ourselves, but to open their heart to reflection. You might say, with wisdom, "That's an interesting point. Perhaps we can look at this from a different angle for the sake of clarity." You are not seizing control, you are offering guidance. The second pillar is certainty. The world says, disrupt their belief. Islam says, illuminate with your certainty. Your yaqeen in Allah is not a weapon to overpower, but a light that can guide. Instead of trying to shift their belief to yours, you elevate the conversation. You might ask, before we discuss the details, can we agree on what is truly just and pleasing to our Creator in this matter? Suddenly, you are no longer 2 individuals in a contest. You are 2 souls seeking the path of Allah together. The third pillar is truthfulness. The world cares about what feels true. Islam cares about what is true. A person might feel they are the smartest in the room. You don't need to challenge their ego. You simply need to anchor the conversation in objective reality and principles. Your concern is not for your perception to win, but for the truth to manifest. When your sincerity is real, their perception of you will become one of a trustworthy person, and they will naturally value your input. And finally, the fourth pillar is humility. The world sees social roles as definitions of power. A Muslim sees them as a trust from Allah. The hardest thing for the ego to do is to remain humble when it has knowledge or standing. But when you break your own expectation of needing to be right, when your belief is in Allah's power and not your own, and when your perception is focused on the hereafter, the worldly definition of your role loses its grip on you. The gravity of the room shifts from you to the principles you represent. So how do we build this presence? Not with clever lines, but with sincere practice. First, the invitation to mindfulness. When a room is running on the autopilot of ego and heedlessness, you don't need to dominate. You just need to gently cut the loop. A simple, calm phrase like, "Brothers, sisters, let's just pause for a moment and take a breath," can bring everyone back to a state of presence. Second, the quiet counsel, naseeha. You don't need to correct every mistake or disagree with every point. You simply offer a better way. You validate their effort with sincerity. I can truly see the logic in how you arrived at that point, and if I may, I'd like to offer a perspective from the teachings of our Prophet, peace be upon him, which might enrich it further. You are not attacking their frame, you are inviting them into a wider, more beautiful one. The third is the dignity of faith, izzah, and reliance on Allah, tawakkul. This is your permissionless certainty. You have earned the right to speak with clarity, not because of your force, but because your heart is anchored. You are calm and composed because you are not dependent on the outcome. Your reward is with Allah. You can say with complete tranquility, I offer this advice for the sake of Allah. It is entirely up to you, but I believe this is the path of greater blessing. This is one of the most powerful states because you need nothing from anyone in the room. And remember the subtle behaviors that reflect this inner state. Pause before you speak. Let the silence be a space for thought, not a sign of weakness. Smile with your eyes. Let it be a genuine reflection of the mercy in your heart. Speak softly and calmly. The Prophet ﷺ had the most powerful presence, yet his voice was gentle. A soft voice invites people to lean in and listen, not just with their ears, but with their hearts. If someone challenges you, remember this. They are not testing you. They are testing for sincerity. People can sense fake confidence. They are searching for a stable anchor in a chaotic world. If they sense your presence is real, that your calm is rooted in tawakkul, they won't feel the need to fight. They will feel the need to follow the truth you represent. When you feel pressure, slow down even more. Acknowledge the tension without reacting to it. Redirect the conversation with absolute clarity. Use your silence as a shield and your calm demeanor as a source of strength. This presence is not built by knowledge alone. It is built by mujahadah, spiritual discipline. It is forged by putting yourself in difficult situations on purpose for the sake of Allah and striving to hold on to your principles. So in your next disagreement, instead of arguing, pause and say, I understand how you see it that way. Would you be open to exploring what our faith teaches on this together? You are leading with respect, not force, and this immediately disarms defensiveness. The real magic happens when this is no longer a tactic, but simply who you are. When you stop using a spiritual frame and you begin to live inside of it. When your certainty in Allah is stronger than their doubts. When your presence is louder than your words, and your silence says more than their entire pitch. That is the true shift. That is when you stop trying to lead and you become a means by which Allah guides. Ultimately, this is not about a set of clever lines. It's about who you are when you are not trying. And the path of the believer is about being, not trying. When you know who you are, a servant of Allah, and you know what you stand for, you can enter any room with a quiet dignity that needs no introduction. Be the one whose heart is anchored in Allah, and you will be the one who brings stability to everyone else.